welcome to Reddit on Reddit, the internet's auditory version of Reddit. I'm Nelson Allingham, joined by Michael Campbell.
You know, we sometimes have to record in advance for various reasons.
Sometimes, yeah.
We just had to do it over the Christmas break because you were on holiday.
Yeah.
And I've been led to believe that this episode coming out now is also being recorded just 1 week in advance because you're going on another holiday.
Yeah, I know.
I'll tell you.
But this time I've been generous and I've decided that you can come along and carry my bags, obviously.
Great.
I don't know if I told you that part about it, but you will be carrying my bags
You
everywhere.
didn't, but I completely understand.
Here's the crazy thing, though. I'm going to make you carry, like, the full luggage. Like, I'm obviously not going to need it. Like, I'm going to a restaurant and stuff, but I still want it there. I still want you to be carrying it. You can't sit down, obviously. You'll have to be standing, holding it, because at a moment's notice, I might be like, hey, give me a sock, you know? And then you got to open it up, get it out.
You've also told me that you bring everything just in case.
Yeah.
So you're bringing like your PS5.
Yeah.
You'll probably be busy. You probably won't have time to play it.
Probably won't.
But
just in case. And
if,
my guns. Obviously, all my guns. You'll be responsible for that when we go through airport security.
Which traveling here in Australia is not a problem.
Yeah, totally fine. It's because they don't expect it. Like, nobody's had guns. Oh, these are probably just pretend or something. Yeah, that's what they'll say. Okay, but I just came from an 18th, a rager of an 18th with family. And
I know it's a rager because it was on a Sunday during the day.
Yeah. Here's the wild thing that I saw there is my auntie bought for the younger children there, some cars, sort of. I guess you would call them cars.
Yeah.
But what it was, you know, the slap bands? Wrist slap bands?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm interested to know how these two relate.
Chuck some wheels on the end. Turns out it works perfectly.
So you wear them on your wrist.
Well, you probably don't wear them
off and
you don't really wear them.
But you roll them
I
up,
think.
I guess.
But you can roll them up. The point is that you can, while rolled up, because the wheels are kind of thick. So while rolled up, you could just wheel it like that as a little car. Okay. Or you could have it flat, like unsnap it, and also wheel it like a car.
I am genuinely, over Christmas, I've become very interested in modern kid toy technology.
Yeah. Because I was like, that's genius. Some dude one day was like, slap bands, chuck a couple of wheels on those, and you've got yourself a car.
I like to think
brilliant.
He was a toy inventor, or she.
Yeah.
And their kid wanted two things for Christmas.
Yeah.
They wanted a toy car and a slap band. And they're looking at the budget and like, I can only afford one of these
Just
things.
one of these things.
But I want to give my kid everything they want.
Yeah. Or parts of one and parts of the other.
Their partner's like, come to bed, honey. You'll never crack it.
Oh, well, egg on their face.
Yeah.
And then it got me thinking, actually, further. And I was like, what else could you put on slap bands? Surely there's just like a very simple one. Surely a watch face. Surely there's a slap band watch, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's gotta
there
be.
must be, yeah.
But if not, that's our idea.
What about like you can hold like one key or something? So if you're going out somewhere, you just need a house key. You just slap it on your wrist.
Oh, you slap it on. Oh my God. This is pretty genius.
Yeah.
Somebody make this.
Not us, obviously.
Not us. We never like to follow through with these things.
No.
We're the ideas guys.
I feel like you can get like modern smart locks for homes that have the little chips in them so your phone can unlock it, right?
Yeah.
Wonder if you can just put that chip in one.
Yeah.
So then when you're leaving, you don't need to take your keys. You can just take the slap band and
Yeah. Okay, how about this? It is just a slap band.
Yeah.
But fill it with diamonds. Sell it to some rich idiot.
Yep.
Kim Kardashian, she'll probably buy it. And then everybody, all these rich people are wearing slap bands. Just like have diamonds.
Right. So we're just making the market hot.
Like we're making it fancy.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Making slap bands fancy. I reckon we could do it.
Yeah. Okay. So bring them back.
Yeah.
But on the subject of modern kid toy technology, I don't know whether we've spoken about this on the show before. So please stop me if we have.
Okay.
But modern water bomb technology.
Oh,
have we talked about this? So I witnessed this over the Christmas break, which is like more than a month ago now. Yeah. But back in the day, you got a water bomb.
Yeah.
You've put it over the spout of the tap.
Yeah.
You fill it up. You try and tie it off.
Ugh.
Now, over Christmas, I witnessed my brother he had all his kids with him, pull out a device that had like 20 water bombs on it, and he attached the device to the tap,
Yeah.
And then it filled up 20 water bombs at once.
At once.
And then it tied them, and then they just dropped off.
Oh my God, that is amazing.
I was like, the advancement of this is incredible.
That is insane that somebody like went to the effort. Like, who's sitting at home and being like, I was furious at that day of casual water bombing with friends because I can't tie a knot as good as Steve, and he hit me with so many more water bombs than I hit him.
That's why I think that should be whenever you get maybe a crotchety person that doesn't want to move with the times. Like, everything was better in my day. Everyone's so upset about everything. You can't say anything anymore, whatever.
Yeah.
Go. But look at what they've done to water bombs.
The water bomb technology is off the charts.
We're objectively living in better times.
Everything else is arguably status quo. We've gone up in areas, down in others. But the water bomb thing is really taken off.
Yeah.
Anywho, all right, let's get into it, Cambo.
Ugh, if you have to.
We don't have to. We could just stop forever.
Interesting.
Yeah. Think about that for...
Well, thanks for listening.
Okay, this first Reddit on Reddit is by Gary 305. This was in the subreddit technology, futurology, or something like that. BuzzFeed to use OpenAI technology to create content.
This is amazing that they're not already doing this.
I thought that they would just be doing this already.
Yeah.
In fact, I would, if somebody had told me, hey, did you know, here's a secret, BuzzFeed has been using AI for 20 years and they've just never told anybody, I'd be like, yeah, but that checks out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like 6 cheeses that aren't blue cheese. Like,
yeah.
It's like, why would any human
wrote that? No human wrote that. But they apparently have been. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel worse about the fact that they haven't used AI to generate some of the articles they've produced.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you feel sorry for the people that were like forced by their manager to write that content.
I also feel like, because BuzzFeed, obviously they generate, well, at least they did. I think they've declined a bit in the last couple of years, but they huge like capital, right? They make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they use it, we've talked about this before, they use it to fund proper journalism, and they've won a Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel, I guess, I'm so curious about the author of the Pulitzer Prize winning article for BuzzFeed, because whenever they introduce themselves at parties and they say, I'm a journalist, I work for BuzzFeed.
Yeah, yeah.
They also obviously have to go, I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
But no, one, no, it's not an AI.
Yeah.
And 2, no, I don't do the lists.
Do you know the details of this? I've never actually questioned it until now, and then I'm just actually formulating ideas in my head because I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking, right? BuzzFeed's like, wow, we're such a shitty brand of, news outlet. What are they? I don't know. Media outlet of sorts.
Yeah.
And so they've said what we can do is we could buy a story from a freelance journalist.
Yeah, okay.
And say that it's out. They would obviously produce it themselves publish it rather themselves. And then technically that's theirs. And in fact, a lot of winemakers do the exact same thing. I know it's like a weird thing, but it's the only other thing that I can think of where like some company will create, or some winemaker will make wine, but they don't really want to distribute it or have enough capital or whatever. So then a company, actually Audi does this a lot.
Yeah.
Then they just buy all the wines and sell it for cheap. And they'll win awards off this wine, and Audi will be credited as having the award. And then the winemakers will get shit because they're like, actually, that was us. We made that wine, and our other wine that we entered didn't do very well. So we want credit for this. But yeah, I imagine it like could be the same thing where BuzzFeed's like, all we have to do to like maintain a little bit of face is to pay every now and again a reporter, can't think of the word, a reporter for like a good story, and we'll say, hey, we're doing a good thing. I don't know.
Well, so I've looked into this through an unspecified search engine.
Bing. You can say Bing. When you've binged it, it's fine to say Bing.
So they won their Pulitzer Prize in 2021. Do you know what the story was that they won it for?
Oh, no.
No, they
okay.
were...
2021.
They were one of, if not the first news organization to expose China's mass detention of Uyghur Muslims.
Oh, that's interesting. All right.
So if your theory is right that they brought an article,
Yeah.
imagine a journalist being like, "You're not going to believe what I've discovered.
Yeah.
Amazing news story here.
Yeah.
Absolutely atrocious, whatever." And BuzzFeed's like, "Can we have that?
Yeah. Can we just?
Can we?"
Yeah. How are you going to get it out there? Yeah. It's
I
good
could take it to the
yeah.
Times. You could take it to the Times, I guess.
Yeah.
guess.
Who's got a lot of exposure? The Times or BuzzFeed? And BuzzFeed for sure.
We can cram it between a listicle and Americans trying English snacks YouTube videos.
Yeah. Yeah, the report on the YouTube video. Yeah, that's really interesting that they won that.
Yeah, not only they won it for like I mean, I guess it's a Pulitzer Prize. You probably won it for a big story.
Yeah,
But like that's a biggie.
Yeah, that is a biggie. Yeah, I do wonder how that comes about.
Yeah.
If it's just freelancers that they're just like they'll occasionally have people submit stuff to them and occasionally they'll be like, "Yep, we'll buy this one."
In the headline, you'll never guess which country is mass detaining Uyghur Muslims, which is I'm not sure about that headline.
Yeah.
But it did make me click.
It was good. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Getting back to the OpenAI thing, which we're surprised they weren't using already. What do you think? I mean, we've spoken a lot about OpenAI, AI in general.
Yeah.
But what do you think will be like the things that get taken over that maybe even are a bit more obscure than we might think? You know, that comes to mind straight away.
Yeah. Well, he first of all, I can't claim this. I saw this written somewhere, possibly Twitter or Reddit or something, which is this idea that like creative jobs are the ones kind of under threat, seemingly, right? Like it's creating images, it's creating writing, etc. Where they were like, it's crazy that the idea of AI was to help us with the mundane jobs so we could all live creative lives.
Yeah.
But really what it's done is it's taken all the creative stuff so we can all live mundane lives. It's like, that's interesting. So
that is a funny concept.
That seems the obvious stuff.
I still don't think it does. I think that the AI, obviously, that's coming out and it's doing those creative things is really just to show that AI is good at interpretation.
Yes.
Because, look, to me, it's like, I don't think we'll ever lose art from humans. Maybe we will have more art from AI, but I still think people will just be bored of the idea of...
Not even that, right? Is that I think that more than take jobs, it will change jobs.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are already automated. Like for my job, I make a lot of video content, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff is becoming automated, but the people that employ me still don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So, for example, I make a lot of content that goes online or on socials, and all of that needs captioning, right?
Yeah.
Anytime you see a video on social or whatever, there's always like captions of what people are saying.
Yeah.
There's a program built into my editor that auto captions things.
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
But my boss doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So they pay me to do it.
Yeah.
So I think that like if a graphic designer is using AI, they might prompt AI to get a starting base, take that and tweak that instead of having to start from scratch.
Yeah.
But an executive isn't going to be sitting there on Mid-Journey trying to get that prompt
put the wrong
right.
prompt.
Comma, cinematic, comma, volumetric lighting, comma, wide shot, 16:9 ratio.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I think that it'll still, but the risk is that it will devalue what people are doing, as in they'll seemingly they'll be like, well, it's worth less money now because you're doing less.
Yes.
I hope that isn't that, but I would say that is more of the risk than it taking people's jobs.
Yeah. I mean, it does. It's always that thing of like, it's a risk of, people losing their jobs. But generally, when something changes dramatically like that, then other jobs are created to accommodate those things.
There'll be people that are just paid to create prompts.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, exactly. I need a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger holding a kid on a bike. Can you write the prompt for that? I don't know how to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be so interesting, wouldn't it? It like becomes a skill of like how to talk to an AI, like a weird form of programming.
Yeah. Honestly, but it kind of already is, because I've seen people post images and other people go, "How did you get this?"
Yeah.
And they've been like, "Oh, well, I had to do it a couple of times, a few iterations of it, and I kept blah blah, and these are the prompts I ended up using."
Yeah,
but that is essentially
Yeah.
almost like verbal programming, I guess.
Yeah, just like
But they iterated until they got what they needed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Although I do also know that there is people that use that are often paying for like a slightly upgraded version of the AI as well. Because I think that has actually something to do with it. Is even though you can be like fascinated by the stuff that's generated, you might even be using like 60% capacity or something. But actually, if you use the big ones, you can get some really crazy, interesting stuff, which is so strange in itself, right? That like it feels like we could get into this world where there's a lot that is done by AI, and you might get it might further divide potentially the rich and poor.
Yeah.
If it's like, you can have AI to, I don't know, do your grocery shopping. I'm coming up with just the worst example, Cambo. And but you have the poor version where you've only got 40% capacity, so it gets the wrong milk. But you know, it's somebody who's like rich is like paying for the 100% capacity. I do think there's like a potential of that divide coming out eventually, because you need a way to like monetize these things, but then also allow everybody to have it. So rather than just everybody, because then it has to be affordable for everybody, and then but if somebody's willing to pay more for something, then you have to make it that little bit better. So I could definitely see that.
Yeah,
being
there will always be a way in which the rich people are doing better than you.
Yeah. Those bloody jerks. Here's the crazy thing that I reckon. I think AI could take over teaching.
Okay.
There's actually a big problem at the moment, I know, in Australia, or actually, let's say Victoria and like rural Victoria, or at least, let's say, outskirts of city, maybe not even necessarily rural. And it's because of the housing prices are so much, people can only afford houses on the outskirts. And then there's sort of this boom of like families and kids out there, but then there's not enough teachers in those areas. And so I could definitely see this as being like a solution where you have one like targeted teaching, because we know there's like so many cases of like, if you have somebody, a good example of this is like traditionally homeschooled kids, right?
Yeah.
Are more advanced, a little bit, I want to say, I don't want to use the term smarter, but let's say technically smarter than their peers of the same age because they've had focused teaching for so long.
Yeah.
And you'd think that AI could also solve that problem where it's like you can have one-on-one with an AI and it'll teach you well. Although with the same problem of homeschooling, the social aspect will probably be a problem.
Yeah. And it needs to overcome the current problem that AI has, which is just being wrong sometimes.
We're a long way from this. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. But even it's crazy to think even like what homeschooling now must look like compared to in like the 70s, say.
Yeah.
With the internet.
Yeah.
Like if I had to homeschool a kid, I'd probably just get a subscription
to Wikipedia, just type in random shit.
Or like get a subscription to that masterclass course.
Yeah.
Like what do you want to learn? Do you want to learn writing books with Dan Brown? There you
go. Yeah.
Write how to write a book. Learn how to write a book.
Yeah, that's right. There was something that I read today as well. This conversation's going on for a really long time. But it was about a lady who was like talks about the ethics of AI.
Yeah.
That was like her field. And she was saying, one of her points was, I'm so worried because, we should be terrified because the AI gets its information off the internet and not everything on the internet is true. And I just thought, what a basic concept you have of AI.
Yeah.
That it's going to take everything at face value. That's like saying That's just saying that everyone could be wrong, because if you read something that's wrong, then you're going to say it's wrong. But I mean, the point of AI is it reads that, then it reads the contradictory thing, and it understands why one thing might be wrong over the other. That's the whole point of AI. It's not...
And it learns and it iterates.
Yeah. What she's talking about is Wikipedia versus AI. Wikipedia can sometimes be wrong, which is written by a human. I mean, obviously it always. But yeah, I was like, it's so funny that, I don't know, I just thought it was bizarre and crazy that this woman had seemingly started her career and pretty well advanced into her career of AI ethics. And this is one of the problems that she thought was going to happen. I was like, oh, you just don't understand this fundamentally. It's like, maybe right now AI is not there, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is...
It's learning.
It's learning. Anyway, sorry. Let's move on to Ask Reddit. Ask Reddit. This Ask Reddit was cross-posted to us by Avent Cardigan, but originally by 78. This was a hard one to pronounce. Okay, Ghicius. Pronounce that, can't they?
Ghicius.
Yeah, that was better than I did.
I had a few more seconds to take it in.
Yeah, that's true. I was off the cuff. Anyway.
I will just say you had 2 to pick from, and the other username was Sue.
Oh, we should have done that one. Let's presume that reincarnation exists. What would you most and least like to come back as?
I'd come back as a human. We have it the best, obviously.
We do have the best.
When you think about it.
Borderline dolphin, I think.
Yeah,
I reckon you could be a pretty happy dolphin.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But I would say, like, when you look at what animal has the most impact and sway on the world, it's human. We built like roads and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But what do you reckon our percentage chances were, theoretically, of being born legitimately into the life of privilege that we have now? We were born into like middle-class families.
Yeah. Could have been richer, I'll be honest.
Could have been richer. Would have preferred if I was richer. But, we're both... It's unfortunate to say this, but we're both white, and that's apparently a factor in the world. And
I'm so white.
Yeah,
I'm talking Scottish, English, and Irish.
Yeah, at least I've got some Italian in me. Yeah, I mean, they're still kind of.
But don't get me wrong, like Italians are still white, but they're fun white.
Yeah,
There's a bit of culture to that.
Yeah. It's an off-white.
Exactly. Yeah. Not me.
But that's right. So there's kind of that part of it, and the country you live in, pretty good.
Yeah.
So like, what do you think our percentage chance is of getting
that
our
again?
Life currently or greater?
Yeah. Well,
because I reckon it's like 15%, maybe even lower.
I think it's lower.
Yeah.
I think it's even lower. But. Because especially where we are now, we're probably like top 3%.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah.
We both have stable jobs. I own a house. We've got some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, actually, 15% is like way too high. Yeah, you're right. It's very small. So you say coming back as a human.
Yes,
but we could theoretically have a much worse. Not saying that but that being slightly worse off than we are now is the worst thing in the world. We would still be better off than other animals.
The worst human condition better than if you came back as an elk on the Serengeti Plain, which sounds nice, but you got lions coming after you.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? As some kind of domesticated pet.
Yeah, that's probably pretty good, isn't it?
We've both got cats.
Yeah.
It's an absolute, what a joke of a life.
Yeah, actually, cat could be pretty good.
And I'd say the same for a golden retriever or something,
Yeah.
Golden retriever, they're expensive, so you go into a rich family.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Maybe a horse. No, because then you might be bred for racing and stuff.
Yeah. Or if you break your leg, it's over.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be terrifying. Oh my God. Can you imagine if we just shot dead if we were legs are broken.
Yeah. Like if your cat breaks its leg, you fix it.
Yeah. Well, actually, sometimes depends how much that is. If you've got pet insurance or not. Yeah, that's true. Okay, rich animal, domesticated. Yeah, I think some sort of dog.
Yeah.
But then I think like you can have those dogs where, again, there is actually a lot of probably we're still thinking of the like kind of privileged animals, really.
What we're trying to do is hack reincarnation to still have privilege.
To still have some sort of
We've got privilege now. We don't want to lose it.
Yeah. Maybe just like a bird of some sort. Okay, they like got a pretty easy life, sort of.
Yeah, the Nelly Furtado really sold me on the concept of being like a bird.
Yeah,
in that song.
Yeah, she flies away. It's
you want to fly away.
Yeah, it's good.
It seemed quite free.
Yeah. Okay. How about a peacock? Because then, because they don't seem like they'd have many predators.
Yeah,
in the wild because they're such easy prey that if they did have predators, they'd just all be dead by now.
Yeah.
But then you also have the chance of a rich person picking up as a pet.
Yeah.
So,
okay. What about a panda?
Ooh.
Because you get born and everyone's like, we got to take care of him.
Yeah.
And by the way, please fuck. I'm begging you.
Do us a favor and
we'll take such good care of you. All you need to do is please have sex.
Yeah. That is that's pretty good. I think pandas are it.
Yeah.
I think we've done it. Pandas are out there. Yeah, like they're in enclosures. You know, other animals, you're like, oh, so sad they're in enclosure. Pandas, you're like, I think they fucking love it in here. They're like, what, you just going to hand me the panda?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Guys, if we have sex too much, they're going to take this away.
Yeah.
We really need to straddle the line, keep us just endangered enough that they don't take us for granted.
Just enough. Yes, sex. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, we should move on to Today Advice.
So now it's time for Today I Learned.
Today I learned.
And also sometimes advice.
This Today I Learned was cross-posted to us by Just Judging Reddit, but it was originally by Katie the Magic Goat. Yes.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah.
That is it. Today I learned the USA was supposed to adopt the metric system, but the ship carrying the standardized meter and kilogram was hijacked by pirates in 1793, and the measurements never made it to the States.
This is so good.
Yeah.
This is so funny.
I know. Guys, just think about it. You could have had a normal measurement system, and if it wasn't for those pesky pirates...
I can imagine they'd be like, oh, pirates ransacked the ship.
Yeah.
Well, how far off coast were they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They didn't. A couple miles, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I was going to tell you in kilometers, but we just don't know. So
I don't know kilometers. So 100 kilometers?
Yeah. Imagine how disappointed you'd be as the pirates. You've ransacked the ship. What do you got? He's like measuring instruments and do we use them? No. Bummer. Yeah.
But pirates, they were pretty efficient, and maybe it's because they did change over to the metric system.
They got this. Yeah, they got this system.
God, we've never been plundering so concisely.
Mathematics is so much easier now with these simple measurements rather than the rubbish we've been using.
But I love the idea that was there just one
That's what
standard
it sounds like to me, doesn't it?
Or was America as a whole being like, well, this is not worth it. This sounds like too much trouble.
It does.
We're ordering them. They're getting ransacked by pirates. I don't know, guys. Shall we just stick it with what we got?
I'm smelling a conspiracy theory. I think.
You think big? I was going to say big metric, but no, they're the ones trying to. Big imperial.
Big imperial. Was like, oh, I'll have none of this.
That
Thank you very much.
ship will never reach land.
Yeah. I bet you it was some stupid, like some flour factory. It was like, oh, we're going to have to start selling in kilos instead of pounds. You know what? I'll pay off a few pirates.
Do you know what? And I know this maybe will upset our American listeners, which is like a huge chunk of our listenership, by the way. Like the majority.
Yeah.
You know what
okay.
really gets me about the imperial system is they introduce fractions. into it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's 3/4 of a mile. I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Fractions make everything worse.
Yeah, that's true.
The metric system.
I've never actually really
It's
thought
decimals
about
with the
that.
metric system.
Because-
point something.
Yeah. You would never say like,
That's 3/4 of a kilometer.
oh, we might say half.
Yeah, you'd say half, I guess.
Like maybe
Yeah.
like centimeters, or something.
Yeah,
I'd say
yeah.
like
or half a meter.
4.5, 4.5 centimeters. I just said 0.5 then. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I might say 4.5 centimeters or something.
Yeah, half is probably the only
But
fraction
then
we
people
use.
instead will say, in fact, in like construction stuff, then you just use millimeters.
Yeah.
Oh, 45 millimeters.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense because then you've still got like the whole number amount, but you just use millimeters. Yeah, weird. Weird that they use fractions.
Yeah, I remember thinking that when the first time I traveled to America and I was driving on the road and I used their GPS system.
Yeah.
And it's like, turn left in 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's...
Not only do I not yet understand a mile,
Yeah.
but I don't know what 3/4 of one looks like.
It's so funny. Yeah. It seems like a vague metric.
It really
doesn't it?
does.
I mean, it's technically accurate, but it seems vague.
Yeah.
Yeah, like about 3/4 of a mile.
It's like, you know how Jamie Oliver does measuring when he's cooking? He's like, yeah, about that. That's good enough.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
his whole thing is like, you don't need specific.
Like about a cup of flour as he's pouring it in. You're like, that wasn't even close to me.
That's the imperial system. It's down that way a ways and then leftish.
Anyway, just so wild that's like what did it.
And
Actually,
I love
don't know.
that they never tried again.
Yeah. That was it. Surely somebody could have gone over there with like. No, actually, I'm still trying to think about how this would work. Because I'm trying to think like, surely you don't need to send over a thing. But then I was like, but in those days, maybe you do. Why do you send somebody over there and they've got nothing, right? Mm-hmm. And then how are you like, this is a meter?
Yeah. Remember this?
Without an actual meter.
My hands apart right now, 1 meter. You measure that.
Yeah.
You got it? All right,
Yeah.
take that back to America.
Yeah.
Come back, I'll show you a cake.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty funny.
But I want to know what the standardized meter is. Is it just a big stick with markings?
I guess so. I imagine it's like those big rulers they had in school, It was a meter long ruler.
Why they only
and
bring one?
And well, there could have been many. As far
guess,
as
yeah.
I think, it does say it implies one on this thing, but I imagine there was like at least 3 rulers of like a meter, and then do you know what? Maybe they had those one little wheel things that you yeah, I think they probably had a clicker on board, and that was the end. All right, Campbell, let's move on to shower thoughts.
Shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts.
This shower thought was cross-posted to us by Gone Emotionally, but originally by Fem Shemp. It's been millennia, and no one has ever gotten Satan's side of the story.
He should release his own book.
Yeah.
God had the Bible, and fair play, it did very well for him.
It did pretty well for
But-
his PR.
I'm just taking like current events into stock.
Yeah.
Royal family's been writing history, but now Harry's got his own book.
Ah.
He's got Spare, which is his
Yeah.
autobiography. Now people are like, geez, reading about this for the first time, this is crazy.
Yeah.
That's what Satan needs is his own Spare.
That is true. It's hard to... Okay, here's the thing, though. This is what you need to think about, right? Now, I'm not saying that the events are different, but if the Nazis wrote a book today
Yeah.
trying to be like, hey, whoa,
Yeah.
you've only got the victor's side of the story, that's still a hard sell.
It is a hard Yeah.
So I'm just wondering whether Satan is going to be like on a similar
Here's
path.
the thing about Satan, right? He punishes evildoers. Mm-hmm. But is he evil or is he doing his job?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, actually, right? Like everybody gets sent to hell where Satan is, and
But he's not like, because otherwise he'd love Hitler.
he's the good guy.
But he's torturing Hitler.
yeah, maybe. I think the thing is, maybe there's this thing between Satan and God.
Yeah.
they were just brothers. I think
Yeah.
they're brothers.
Yeah.
And God was like, hey, I'm going to forgive people. And Satan was like, fuck that.
You kidding?
Well, they're the murderers and rapists and stuff. All of them. No. I'll have those and I'll deal with them in hell. And God's like, I don't know, man. I'm just cool with like forgiving everybody.
Yeah.
And so then there's war where like when anybody dies, then Satan and God have to have a discussion about who should get them.
Yeah.
And I reckon God sometimes got some, some murderers and rapists and stuff. And he's like, you're forgiven. They're like, what? Oh, seriously? Sweet. I reckon Satan. He's the good one.
And there's probably some people that weren't that bad that end up in hell being like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Like I cheated on my wife.
Yeah.
Which is bad.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it's like eternal damnation bad.
Yeah.
Like we did reconcile.
And Satan was like, we made it clear in the Bible, which God and I wrote together.
Yeah, by the way.
His name ended up being the main one.
Yeah, the Bible by God.
The Bible by God. I wasn't really happy about that.
If you look in the cliff notes at the back, it does give you special thanks.
Yeah. It's cheers to Satan for the inspiration on some of the posts.
So here's the thing. I don't think Satan would release a book. Mm-hmm. What he would do, he'd do the most evil version of that. Mm-hmm. He'd release one of those magazines subscriptions that you can only get through newsagents where the first issue is $5.95.
Oh.
You sign up.
Yeah.
And then it becomes
like
more expensive.
$80 for the next issue that you forgot about.
And like you have to build a kit of some kind and they don't send it to you in order, so you have to keep subscribe to the magazine.
Oh, that's so annoying. Yeah. That is what Satan would do. But you need to get the story out there somehow.
Yeah. And that's the worst way.
That's the worst way.
So maybe he has told his story and no one brought it.
No one bought it. Yeah. He was like, damn it, I really shouldn't have done that. But I'm glad I did. There was that one guy who bought every issue. Here's another one. This is also crossposted to us by Gone Emotionally, but originally by Pac-Man the Hitman. When you think about it, kind of true.
I guess if you're talking about little fruits.
No, because then he gets the dot that makes all the goats be edible.
Yeah, and then it's then he turns into a psychopath.
Yeah. The older you get, the more you realize how much you took going to school for granted. Yeah, I think I think about this all the time. In fact, I was thinking about this because there was like some question that came up recently with, I don't know, my partner, and we're talking about like if you went back in your childhood. In fact, we even spoke about, I think it came up because we spoke about it last week or something.
Yeah, possibly.
Going back in time as your younger self or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we did,
Yeah. I think I spoke about it again with my partner.
Mainly talked about how you wouldn't have an iPhone or whatever.
Yeah.
It's good that Alan took a more deep approach to the subject.
And then, and I was thinking about it and I was like, man, I reckon if I went back to school and was like, I'm just going to like try and learn stuff this time, rather than like my memory of school has so little to do with the learning. I obviously came out with some stuff.
Well,
I can sometimes maths and I can sometimes English.
The thing is, I actually think that the further I get from school and the more people I know that have like become teachers and stuff that have talked about curriculums and whatnot, the more I think that the schooling system serves most but not all. Yeah. So I think that the school I went to and the way that I learn are two different things.
Yeah.
Where like, because it by its very nature, it needs to serve the maths, right?
Yeah.
So it needs to teach whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's fine until a point, but I think that there probably was a certain point where it wasn't doing anything else for me.
Yeah.
And I have since learned a lot more. I like to think I'm a lot more intelligent than I was when I graduated high school now. Yeah. Because I've learned how to teach myself in the way that works for me.
Okay.
But I do think that there are people, and I'm going to say probably the more creatively bent people that it, like, the system doesn't necessarily cater for their learning type.
Yeah. I do agree with that in a certain extent. That's true. Although I do know that, you know how there was like there's some people that like writing as and audio, and sometimes people visual. Apparently that's all total bullshit. And they're like, there's that doesn't apply. They were like, people are better at learning certain things, visual, depending on what that content is, and everyone will kind of roughly be the same, or like just everybody takes on everything, and it's not you're ever more than one thing. You need all the. It's just like basically apparently a really rubbish study.
Really? Okay.
That just
it's like some
that,
weird pseudoscience.
Yeah, something like that. But I do like sort of agree with that. But the thing is with me, I feel like now if I had my own, I was the same person, I just went back in time, I'd be like, there's just so much shit I wouldn't care about as much. Because it's the social aspect, I think, of school, like going through puberty and stuff as well at that time, and being conscious about, you know, how you're perceived by your peers in the classroom. I would just care so little about now.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, no, I just want to focus on what I'm actually learning, you know? Like I feel like I would just be way more engaged in the subject matter. And yeah, and so I feel like that I've always I don't know, I guess I took going to school for granted in that way.
Yeah.
Whereas like I actually should have appreciated that I had this way to like build my source of knowledge in a closed environment and also be looked after at home at the same time and not have any other like worries or anything.
Also, like we specifically, you and I and everyone else in this country, I think take for granted how good our school system is. It is. It's a really good school system. Even the crappy schools are pretty good, you know.
Right, yeah.
Like relative to the world,
Yeah.
our education system is actually very, very good.
Yeah.
So I think that I definitely took that for granted, I think. Being able to
Yeah.
get such a good... Like, all of my after-school education I did was so cheap because it was all subsidized by the government.
Yeah.
And I was able to just keep learning if I wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, like that's incredible.
Yeah, that's right. Cool. All right. Let's move into podnapping.
Oh my God! I'm being podnapped!
Podnapping.
This is Podnapping, where we nap a pod. We take a topic of conversation or a segment from another thing, and we do it ourselves. Sometimes we've actually built into this system that we can just forego a week. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Now,
Cashing in a forego.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what this sound effect is, but it could be a celebration.
Oh.
Do we risk it?
Yeah, press it. Oh, it's an announcement. I've announced that I am foregoing this podnapping.
There you go.
It's done.
What's this one, though?
Oh.
We have two pads that we don't know what they are.
I reckon that is the celebratory one. Oh, what? It's just another intro.
Yeah, I know what this is. This will have the Christmas music at the end of it.
Oh. No, doesn't it start with...
maybe the New Year's
bells?
music then, yeah. I've got three themes
Okay.
that I normally only have one on there.
Oh, it is. It's counting down.
Yeah, so, yeah, okay, that's what that is.
Anyway.
It's very anticlimactic.
Foregone. For good.
Oh, God, I wish.
Yeah, I wish. Anyway, now it's time for the Ask Me Anything, where listeners of the show, just like you, listener, can write in and ask us anything you want.
Go on here from Hazza. It says, Gentlemen Cunts, what is the strangest thing you have on display in your homes? I have a completely de-stuffed and ripped rhinoceros toy that was the first toy I brought my dog 4 years ago. I have had friends ask how my tiny dog managed to get his toy tossed on the bookshelf when, in fact, I considered it home decor. Broken dog's toy, broken pet toy, I imagine are pretty common.
You reckon it's common? I reckon it's weird.
Shelf decor, maybe not, but like to have around the house and just like you don't even notice it anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And someone will be like, oh, why have you got that big, like whatever. Like a friend of ours always had like a disgustingly old little elephant toy. Because it was their dog's toy.
Yeah.
and I reckon she just didn't see it.
Yeah.
That's just part of the house.
It's not there anymore. Yeah.
Like we've not had curtains in our new house for so long that bright orange construction clamps to us just aren't there.
Yeah.
It's not there.
Yeah,
Because that's how we keep sheets on the windows on hot days. That's normal now.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. And that will continue to remain the norm because
curtains are expensive.
They're expensive, apparently. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you think that's the weirdest thing you have on display in your home? Maybe it's like those.
No, I you know what it is? It's a VHS copy of the movie The Mummy. It's on display in my home. I'm clearly an ex-rental from a video store.
Yeah.
Brought to us as a housewarming gift.
I'm surprised it's not Signs.
Yeah, that obviously that would have been great.
Yeah.
But the Mummies are more agreed upon between myself and Stacey as
that's
an absolute
true.
banger of a time.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. I was going to say the strangest thing, perhaps for you, is Meg's the cat.
He's not on display though.
Sometimes he is.
He likes to mainly hide and hiss.
Yes.
We're not like check out.
That's
this.
That's why it's weird because I when I leave, I'm like, why would they have that around? Why does this exist?
Yeah. What about you? What's the weirdest thing you have on display?
The only thing I can think of at the moment, which I think is the weirdest thing, is actually my cat's kitty litter.
Oh yeah.
Because it's in this like little dome thing, so it's like meant to be built to look a little bit nicer. But when you think of it, it's like my cat shits in that.
Just a shithole.
It's just
You have this isn't a weird thing, but I think it's maybe something that people first time guests to your house might be confronted by.
Oh yeah,
which is a large canvas artwork. That does depict a topless woman.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is like up in your way upstairs.
Yeah. And it has the word hell. Written like a bunch of times.
Great bit of art. But I would
yeah.
imagine it's not a weird bit of art, but I imagine it's something people
It's a bit confronting. This is strange. In fact, I think even my uncle, not blood related uncle, was giving it to me as a 30th birthday present.
Yep.
Because he's an artist.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure at the time my auntie, not brother related, his wife obviously, was saying, "Are you sure you want that one?" Because I think she was like, "It's a bit, especially like because he just pretty much exclusively does nude women, so that wasn't odd. But the fact that it had the word hell as well is like it's a bit more like maybe." It's not as nice to put up around other people, but I really like it. I think it's really good.
It's a great bit of art,
yeah, that's true. That's a bit weird. Otherwise, there's a lot of cat hair just around.
Yeah,
that's.
But again, you're not displaying it on a shelf. It's on a shelf.
It is on a shelf. It is.
I'm not saying it's not on a shelf.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's a display. Whereas,
not purposefully.
The VHS copy of The Mummy is on display.
Purposefully on display. Yeah, that's true.
We don't have a VHS player. It's of no use to us other than we're like, this is art.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's all I've got. And obviously, the first condom I ever used.
On display.
Yeah, it's pretty artsy.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we've got time for this week. Thank you for writing in, Hazza. If you would like to write into us, you can do so. Reddit podcast, readitpodcast @gmail.com.
Yep.
You can also reach us at Facebook, Twitter, and our subreddit. They're all READIT podcast. We'd also appreciate it if you could subscribe and rate the show on whatever podcasting app you're listening to. And
do one last thing, and I'll start the intro.
Eat some fruit. Thanks for listening, and we will read you later.